Hi, buddy. It's Jeff Allen, and I get a question at least twice, 3 times a week, at least 3 times a week, for the past 15 years. How to become a supplier or a solution provider or a development partner for SAP, and I want to answer this question with everything that's public, right? So nothing confidential here. I'm just going to give you stuff that I said to everybody and it's all public, right? So beware of what you get into. Okay. I had worked 3 decades before I came to SAP. Well, almost 25 years. And I'd spent at least 15 years in the translation technologies and services industry and really knew that really well. Was on the board of several multilingual magazine and wrote a lot of articles and stuff and was in a lot, gave a lot of conference talks. So I thought I really knew the industry well, and then I came to SAP and I learned that the 1% I didn't know, and that's a big 1%. Okay, a really big one. And I've been here for 14 years, and every day I learn something new. I'm not kidding. So so be ready to be humbled of what you don't know. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. I'm being very honest and being very transparent. That don't think you know it all, because I thought I knew it all, and I'd really worked in some really top places. And I came here as like, boy, you gotta like, kind of gotta unlearn some stuff, or you gotta learn a whole new world, a whole new metaverse, a whole new metaverse. Yes, it is. And I did write the Bible for surviving with web APIs at SAP. And I've done a few of these Bibles. They call them the people, colleagues. It's up on the LinkedIn profile. They said, I wrote the Bible for surviving at SAP as a developer or whatever. And so I'm not kidding. So I'm warning you what you're getting into. So let's start with that. Um, I'm also an auditor of ICE9 with Adam Process here at SAP, and I set the whole thing up at SAP France and ran it for 7 years. I'm a trainer of a lot of different talks and corporate topics of corporate requirements and that stuff. So I really know this really well. All the key things you got to know, right? So I've taken, and actually one of my first jobs at SAP was onboarding the big acquisitions, okay, and all the research and development infrastructure, okay. So kind of was participating as a key person in that. So all the big acquisitions, right? So, and how to migrate all their tools or work with their tools to work with SAP's tools. So I've been through. That's why I get a lot of gray hair, okay. Um, and I hope I'm scaring you enough, but I really do want you to realize what you're getting to before you ask this question, because I'm going to have people point at this video. Start with this, right? And it just makes life easier. Um, uh, so the first things you want to do, if you want to come, so let's say if you want to become involved um, in I'm going to cover a couple of different fields here. So, like the whole translation services and technology. If you want to know anything, go to translation.sap.com, translation.sap.com, and just go into the supplier overview section and look at it, right? There's everyone. There's no company that can do everything, right? You only get it if you specifically you get contracts in one language, and that's it, one language, and you got to be certified. And they say it's a strict. On the page, it says that the suppliers go through a strict criteria and certificate process. And I'm saying this is strict, folks. Be ready to invest a lot of time into this, and I'm not kidding here. I'm being very serious. A lot of time, and there's a point of no return, in which you've invested so much time into that you can't turn back. So, really, it all depends on the size of your company, right? So, if you are a small little company of like up to 5 people, don't do it. You're not going to be able to survive this, okay? Unless you've already worked at SAP and you know it really well, okay? The other thing I ask all these people is a pretty simple question, like, do you know what a BAP is? And most of the time they have no idea. I said, don't even start if you don't know what a BAP is, okay? And I'm pronouncing it the English way, right? There's a German way to pronounce it too. Then I ask them what they know what RFCs are. They don't know what it is. What's an RFC? If you don't know what an RFC is, don't start, because it's related to the BAP, okay? So I'm being very honest. I'm being really serious, okay? I'm trying to avoid you spending time in something you don't want to spend time wasting your time on. Okay, it's because so much investment that you could have actually, with all the time you're gonna have to do and going through all those things I'm telling you to do, you could probably made like 20 deals. Okay, and this is just to go through the process of hoping to get certified, right? So um, it's great when you get certified because you're on that language. You are one of the reference. Okay, so it's great. But to go through that, I'm not kidding, is a lot of work. Okay, I'm not kidding here. Um, so that whole, and you'll see in that supplier list, they're per language, right? And they've gone through this strict qualification procedure, and there's a whole audit process. And I'm not going to go into that. And I'm an auditor, right? I'm a development auditor, development process auditor, and certified. And I took SAP France through 7 years of a really incredible program of getting certified, and we got an outstanding audit. Okay, because I found ways to gamify it and make it fun. And so I've done that. Now, the product standards. Now, it's like the product standard. What are product standards? Well, it's this list of 1,000 points in a lot of different categories, okay, that you have to go through to prove that you are qualified to become a development partner, right? All the acquisitions have to go through the same thing. All of the acquisitions. Now, I've taken 10 of those acquisitions through it, and they hated me, okay? I try to make it fun. I try to make it fun and easy. And we keep simplifying this thing, but really we don't simplify it that much. It's still as complicated. It's still as complex as it is. You've got to be certified in those 1,000 points to be a product in SAP. Okay, I'm not kidding. Any internal product or you got to be certified in those 1,000 points in all those categories, and pretty intense. Okay, I've taken 10 of them through, about 10, mainly acquisitions, and I do recall in several of the cases where for the next version of the product, these were acquisitions, so they had new products when you put it. They had to suspend 60 to 80% of the development effort for the next product to actually work on these things. I'm not kidding. Okay. So you've got to realize what you're getting into. This is really serious stuff, okay? If you want to become a partner or a supplier or whatever. So you got to really understand here. And there are different levels of this, right? But I'm just kind of giving a quick overview because you got to really assess if you want to go through this. And I've known a couple, I've known companies that have gone through it. And afterwards, we talk about it, right? We all laugh. So it's and I've discouraged more companies. I've discouraged pretty much anyone that's come to me for 14 years to do it. And nearly all of them have actually followed my advice because it's the point of no return. You got to the point of diminishing returns is you got to find that point, and it's a pretty hard thing to do. So translation.sap is one thing. Then if you want to know more on being a partner, which is then you can do the development stuff. That's called partneredge.sap.com. And I just went through the thing. I just went through the partneredge.sap.com myself. And what do you see? Well, first you got to go through and qualify what products you could be potentially the partner with. And there's like 10 or 15 different categories, and they have all the products listed. And if you got to go through each of those products and figure what they are first, okay? To say that you're interested in that stuff. Then you have to go through and indicate the vertical industries that you're and they have all those in products. And SAP has 2,000 products, okay? And so you have to, it's logistics, human capital, business intelligence, ERP, going bam, 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 bam. Then all the products, and you got to go through, right? Then you got to go through and figure out what are the vertical industries, and we cover 30 of them, okay, right? So you got to figure that out. Then you got to go through and figure the solutions if it's on-premise or it's cloud, and that alone, just figuring out what the solutions are, and have to kind of do the investigation on it. You can see what I'm getting into. It's a lot of work because if you don't know what they are, I know I went through last night. I've worked in a lot of these products. I've worked a lot of teams helping certify them. It says audited and stuff. So I know what they would do because I've seen all the overviews, pretty much dozens and dozens of products out of 2,000. Okay, I work on something that you even work on the SAP Help portal. So I look at a lot of stuff about a lot of content about a lot of products, and I know this stuff. Okay, but if you don't, and you don't know what ABAP is, know what RFC is, think about it twice. Okay. I hope I'm scaring you, but I'm trying to do it for the good purpose. Is just say you really didn't know what you're getting into to be able to ask this question. And most people have not even looked at my resume or my CV on LinkedIn before they ask me this question. So I said start there, right? Um, then, so I talked about product standards, and there are, I think off the top of my head, there are 20 categories, 1,000 points, okay, to 900,000, and you gotta answer every single question, every single one. You fill out RFPs, right? Of 100 questions, this is 1,000. Okay, so I'm being very serious, and you gotta answer it to where it will be accepted, right? So you gotta really think about this. Let's see what other things we can go through. I'm trying to be serious here because I really want to. I really think that in the majority of cases, it's only if you're really a big organization that you've got the time to really consider this. You can go through and actually answer all these questions. So you know how much time it is to go through an RFP, right? Everyone says how hellish going through an RFP is hard. This is 1,000 questions just for that part. Okay. Um, so other things, kind of, I'm laughing because I've taken a lot of, like I said, I've taken a lot of our acquisitions through this. I made it fun, and we did, and we auditing, we made it fun. We had a lot, and so the audits we went through after they were already acquired, right? So they had, and then we still went through the special acquisition onboarding with all the development requirements after that. So, and then we did the ISO 1000 auditing after that. Okay, so if you've heard me talk about any things about any of the conference talks about rapidly taking the development already, the development teams through ISO 9000 stuff in 4 weeks with 5 sessions, is because they've gone through all the other stuff first. Okay, so that the auditing is after they've proven that they are worthwhile, to be an acquired product. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is not done before they become acquired, right? Mainly that's just kind of a business deal. Then they got to deal with the forklifting of all the development processes and all the tools. Yes, I've been the co-lead of that stuff, and then you got to go through the audit process, okay, of the ISO 1000. And yeah, it's let's say it's fun, okay. And I did gamify it. I got a lot of stuff on my LinkedIn profile, a lot of recommendation on my LinkedIn profile to how fun I made it, but I'm not doing that anymore right now, okay. So I'm not there to help, but I'm just. I really want you to seriously think about this. Look at the partnership edge. Look at the program SAP. Look at the partnership edge program. Look at the partnership partner. Look at the translation.SAP.com for our being a supplier. You've got to really, 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 and I cannot say this more than, it says you got to hear this between 13 and 17 times to understand it. And I don't know how many times I've said this. You need to know what you're getting into, because I really think I'm serious here. And how much time? I mean, I have taken, like I said, I've taken 10 at least 10 acquisitions through this. And it could take months of time, and I'm talking months of serious time here. So, and all your developers answering questions, right? Because you got to answer all the security questions. You got to answer the very specific stuff for development. Suppliers. It kind of depends on what we're going to do with the product to be a supplier, to license the thing, right? So that all depends. You want to, if you're going to go through an RFI process, an RFP process to become a supplier of SAP, they won't always ask you, how are you ready to go with these processes? You need to ask a question back. What are your processes to become a supplier, right? It's not just going through procurement, right? It's all the rest of the stuff. So, and depending if the team has had experience doing this or not, and doing the RFI, RFP, I've actually been in an RFP process where I said, are we announcing to the people, to the suppliers, of what it's going to go through to become a supplier? No, have we done this? And say, because I don't want them to get mad at me in the end because we lied to them. Right? I wouldn't say we lied, but you got to be careful. So you don't always get that. So you need, as a supplier, if you want to go through, you need to specifically ask, what are the processes to become that type of supplier? and what are the product standards I need to know, what are the development partnership stuff, or what are the translation supplier, or the type of supplier, or whatever, what is needed, okay, and what extra stuff, rather than just the license and the NDA and all that kind of stuff, right? And the procurement process. Oh, procurement, how long does it take out? Well, I was actually the president of the, I was the president of the SAP France Employees Association for a number of years. And to be able to receive money from SAP for funding, right? And to be able to do some, events and stuff, okay, through SAP, because we're a separate association. We considered going through the two different associations, the sports and the non-sports. I was the non-sports one, the cultural music activities and all that kind of stuff. We consider going through the procurement process to actually receive money. It's an 8-month process. 8 months. Okay, I'm not kidding. 8 months. I actually decided not to do it because I was smart to say I don't want to spend my time on this. Right? And this was just a kind of a volunteer thing. Right? I did not want to go through that. I'm serious. I did not want to go through having to go through the process just to be able to receive some money for some events a couple times a year. Okay, I'm not couple grand, right? I didn't want to deal with that. It was better for me to go through other processes of getting money, funding in other ways that were faster and easier than going through the procurement process, okay, to be able to get that. So I'm being honest here, folks, and I really care that I think it's important for you. I'm slapping, okay, and some things I do and some things I don't. It's just because I just realized how much time I have to put into it, and it all comes down to how much time you got into it. And at that point in time, I could for the President Association, the Employee Association, I could find other things to do with my time that would bring in more funding than to do a procurement process. Okay, so again, I'm trying to give you an overview here. Now, once you've gone through this, and I do know companies have gone through it. And, I do remember one company coming to me in 2009 asked me, and I warned them. They went through. And they're today a partner. Let's say it wasn't an easy ride, but they're able to provide the solutions and do the stuff right, and it can be done. But we always have a smile when we talk, right? So, it's not that easy. So, it all comes down to is how much are you willing to sacrifice everything else you're doing for business, for your business leads, for your trying to get business development, sales, and all the time and your project manager to devote to this kind of thing than to actually be doing real production, sales, getting faster, easier accounts that are way less complicated than here. Get way less complicated, and to do that. And the complexity of it, and I'll just kind of finish up with this. One of the acquisitions we came through, and I'm not going to see any names or stuff, but they had optimized their entire one of their processes, down to one person with a lot of scripts. Okay, a lot of scripts they could run. They became acquired, and then when they become acquired as a company and their products and stuff, and the whole process, then when they became part of SAP, they had to add 22 people to it. So it's going to add a lot of stuff, and you need to understand what you're getting to. You need to understand if you want to go this direction. I would say in the majority of cases you don't want to. You can find other companies that are a lot less complicated, complex in how to become certified. And it's once you're in, and you're really in. Okay, but you got to time if you got the effort and the time and the bandwidth to be able to do this, right? So, and that's why I'm saying this. I'm not saying it's negative. I'm just saying it's a big time investment, a big time investment. I am saying this very seriously. So I'm emphasizing this. But once you're in, then you can go to all the different user groups and stuff and go to them and be presented and all that stuff. And then you're you get a monopoly on it, right, to the market, because you're the only one on some of these things that can do some of these things, right, to all the customers. But it depends on how big you are and if you can survive that trip, right? So, and a lot of smaller companies, I've worked with a lot of smaller companies and startups and smaller companies, there's not this kind of bandwidth to do this, right? So there's not, because you got to be focused on putting money on the table at the end of the month. And here, when you're talking about 8 months to a couple of years, of a lot of work of a certain one or two or three people working on stuff, that's the time investment you got to think about. You got to be serious about it. So, hope this video kind of gives you an overview. I have no longer how it was, probably 15 minutes. It probably scares you more than anything. I'm just trying to be honest here, trying to set the scene. I've taken a lot of teams through this stuff, right? And after they've been acquired, and I've, advised a few companies to just think about this a lot, and a lot decided not to, for good reasons, and a few decided to do it. And a lot of them, when I just kind of write back with a short paragraph, they don't respond back, right? So that's what making this video. So then you can think about it, really think about it, because it's not just a paragraph, right? So think about it, and that's what I'm going to say here. So and I can't help you. I cannot help you. Okay, I can't, because it's unmerited. You've got to prove this yourself. There's no buddy system here, kind of thing stuff. It doesn't work. There's nothing I can do, okay, to help you become certified. You got to go through all that stuff for yourself, right? And that takes time. So, all right. So have a great day. And when you've gone through it and you figured it out and you've done a lot of bedside reading, to the point you're tired of it, then you get through it. And then you are a partner or a supplier. And ta-da! Yes, you are finally SAP certified to whatever that thing is. So that's it. Have a great day. Okay, everybody?